Imagine an entire American city surrounded by fire. The streets are filled with smoke, buildings are collapsing, thousands of people are running for their lives, and the fire seems impossible to stop. This sounds like a scene from a disaster movie, but it really happened. In October 1871, a massive fire destroyed a huge part of Chicago. It became one of the most famous disasters in American history. But how did it start? Why did it spread so quickly? And how did Chicago rise again from the ashes? Let's go back to 1871. Chicago before the fire. In 1871, Chicago was one of America's fastest-growing cities. Thousands of people were moving there looking for jobs and opportunities. The city was expanding rapidly, but there was a serious problem. Much of Chicago was built with wood. Houses were made of wood, buildings were made of wood. Even sidewalks and streets in some areas contained large amounts of wooden material. The city was also extremely dry. All it needed was a spark. And that spark came on October 8, 1871. The fire begins. On the evening of October 8, a fire started in a small area of Chicago. The exact cause of the fire has never been completely proven. For years, people repeated the famous story that a cow owned by Mrs. O'Leary knocked over a lantern, but historians have never been able to confirm that story. Whatever caused the fire, the flames began spreading rapidly. Strong winds pushed the fire across the city. And soon, Chicago was facing a catastrophe. Chicago in flames. By the next day, huge sections of Chicago were burning. Thousands of people were forced to leave their homes. The fire destroyed businesses, churches, homes, and public buildings. The destruction was enormous. More than 300 people died. Around 100,000 people were left homeless. And thousands of buildings were destroyed. Chicago looked like a completely different city, but the worst was still not over. The fire finally stops. The fire continued for roughly 2 days. Then the weather finally changed. Rain helped slow the flames, and eventually, the fire burned itself out. When the smoke cleared, Chicago was devastated. Entire neighborhoods had disappeared. Thousands of families had lost everything. But something unexpected happened next. Chicago didn't give up. The city rises again. After the disaster, people from across America and other parts of the world sent help. Food arrived. Clothing arrived. Money arrived. And Chicago began rebuilding. New buildings were constructed. Many were designed with stronger fire-resistant materials. Architects and engineers began experimenting with new ideas. Over time, Chicago became famous for its architecture and skyscrapers. The city that had been nearly destroyed by fire became one of America's most important cities. The Great Chicago Fire destroyed much of a growing American city. But it didn't destroy Chicago's future. Instead, the disaster became the beginning of a massive transformation. Chicago was rebuilt, it grew taller, it grew stronger, and eventually became one of the greatest cities in the United States. Sometimes history gives a city a second chance. And Chicago used that chance to build something even bigger. Asterisk asterisk the city burned, but Chicago rose from the ashes. Asterisk asterisk. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to USA History World for more incredible moments from American history.